Gender is one of the most powerful forces shaping human identity. Before a person learns to speak or walk, society begins to assign roles and expectations based solely on gender. It becomes a blueprint, quietly guiding how people should behave, think, and even feel. Across cultures, this division actually begins early. From the moment of birth, children are placed into two categories, male and female, and almost everything around them, from the colors to the clothing, toys, and even language, reflects this divide. These differences may seem harmless, but they form the foundation of how society later defines masculinity and femininity.
The process of gender socialization begins in early childhood. Through families, media, education, and religion, young minds absorb a set of rules about what it means to be a boy or a girl. Boys are encouraged to be strong, assertive, and independent, while girls are taught to be gentle, caring, and obedient. This early conditioning shapes behavior, ambitions, and emotional expression. Children learn not only what is expected of them, but also what is forbidden. Phrases like boys don't cry or good girls don't talk too much act as invisible boundaries. Over time, these boundaries harden into beliefs that limit freedom for everyone.
As these early lessons settle into adulthood, they become gender stereotypes and fixed ideas about what men and women should be. Men are often expected to become providers, to be physically strong, emotionally reserved, and career focused. Women, on the other hand, are often associated with caregiving, beauty, and domestic responsibility. These stereotypes don't just exist in conversation, they shape real opportunities. In education, boys may be encouraged to study science or business, while girls are steered towards arts or teaching. In workplaces, leadership traits like confidence or decisiveness are often praised in men but criticized in women. And in homes, expectations of care and service still fall unevenly. This pattern shows how gender inequality is not only personal but structurally woven into institutions that govern daily life.
In many South Asian societies, including Pakistan, gender roles are deeply tied to tradition and cultural identity. They are passed down through generations, often seen as part of maintaining respect or honor. But these traditions also carry expectations that can limit to personal growth and mental well-being. Young men face the constant pressure to live up to the ideals of toughness and control. They're often discouraged from expressing fear, sadness, or vulnerability emotions considered unmanly. As a result, many struggle in silence, believing that emotional openness would make them appear weak. At the same time, young women are burdened with the expectation to balance achievement and obedience. They are encouraged to study and work, but only within boundaries that preserve family reputation. This dual expectation creates constant tension, a feeling that no matter what is achieved, it must always fit within social approval.
These gendered pressures create emotional consequences that reach far beyond individual experience. Men raised to suppress emotion often face higher risks of stress, anxiety, and isolation. The lack of emotional communication in male circles reinforces the stigma around mental health. Women, meanwhile, experience a different form of psychological pressure. They face constant evaluation of their behavior, appearance, and choices. Society often ties a woman's worth to her ability to maintain relationships, manage a home, and even meet expectations of modesty. This emotional labor, the constant need to please, to care, to maintain harmony, goes largely unrecognized.
Within the household, these patterns are most visible. Domestic work continues to be viewed as the primary duty of women, regardless of whether they study or work outside. Sons may be exempt from daily chores, while daughters are expected to assist with cooking, cleaning, and caregiving. Sociologists call this imbalance the second shift. It refers to the additional labor women perform after their formal education or jobs, unpaid, unacknowledged, but socially demanded. This extra workload affects rest, mental health, and even long term career growth. The second shift illustrates how gender inequality persists quietly within the private sphere, protected by the idea of tradition.
These social patterns are reinforced by institutions that shape everyday life: schools, workplaces, and media. In classrooms, teachers may unconsciously treat male and female students differently. Boys who speak up are praised for confidence, while girls who do the same are told to be polite. In the media, advertising, and entertainment often repeat the same old images: strong, dominant men and gentle, submissive women. Such repetition makes gender inequality appear natural. But these differences are not biological, they are learned behaviors, reinforced through repetition and approval.
And yet, change is slowly happening. Across Pakistan and around the world, young people are starting to challenge these patterns. Conversations about gender equality, feminism, and masculinity are becoming more common, not as acts of rebellion, but as necessary discussions about fairness and humanity. Men are beginning to recognize that emotional expression is a strength, not a weakness. Women are reclaiming spaces in education, politics, and workforce that were once closed to them. Families are starting to share responsibilities more equally, and schools are encouraging open discussions about gender bias. It's not a complete transformation, but it's a beginning.
Addressing gender inequality requires more than awareness, it requires participation. It means unlearning old beliefs, challenging double standards, and changing the small habits that reinforce division. It starts with action, as simple as sharing domestic work, encouraging emotional honesty in boys, and valuing women's ambition beyond marriage or motherhood. True equality does not mean making men and women the same. It means creating a society where everyone, regardless of gender, has the freedom to express, to grow, and to be respected equally.
When gender roles are no longer treated as strict boundaries, everyone benefits. Men gain the freedom to be empathetic and emotionally open. Women gain the freedom to pursue leadership, creativity, and independence without fear of judgment. And together, communities grow stronger because equality creates balance, not conflict.
This shift begins with collective awareness. When individuals recognize inequality in daily routines, in homes, schools, conversations, they gain the power to change it. By rethinking the messages passed to children, society can move beyond the cycle of boys will be boys and girls should behave. These small moments of reflection are the foundation of more inclusive culture.
The goal is not to erase gender, but to free it from stereotypes, to allow men and women, boys and girls, to explore their identities without shame or restriction, to build a society where empathy and respect define strength, and care and courage belong to everyone. Only when these boundaries fade can equality truly exist, not as a slogan, but as a lived reality.
Gender is not a competition.
It is a shared human experience, one that should unite, not divide.
Every generation has the chance to rewrite the rules.
And this generation has already begun.